welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Cramser, Susie in the Banshees week. Side 3. And today we are going to talk about sophomore slumps, a topic that I'm surprised hasn't come up already. And I don't know. I think join hands is kind of looked at as a sophomore slump, even though I'm the only one of the three of us that had it rated lower than the debut.
Yeah, why are we talking about this? Whatever. We'll talk about it. We'll talk, but I don't get it.
Well, after I decided that this should be the topic and was looking online for like examples, this one came up several times. So I don't think I'm totally out of line here. But let's see what else we got for sophomore slumps. Could be terrible records or maybe just disappointing compared to what the debut was. We'll see.
I don't know. Well, maybe a couple of these are terrible, but they are definitely disappointing compared to what came first. We'll start off with a band I really love the debut of, one of my top 5 in 82, ABC. Lexicon of Love was such a great debut, channeling Bowie and new wave and romantic, whatever. And then comes Beauty Stab, and it just stabbed through my heart. Just a weird mix of like hard rock and like all the cool melodies are gone. Just a complete fall flat on their face effort. They never recovered from that either. Also, my list, I got a band I always talk about, Ash, nuclear sounds. Basically the opposite of what 1977 was. Darker, less melodic, a little too grungy. They lost all of like the innocence and fun that was just all over 1977, their fantastic debut. Let's do a little Snoop Dogg. What's my name? The Dogfather. Does anyone, I don't think anyone on earth knows a single track from The Dogfather, which is a shame because the supernova that was Doggy Style, just, Snoop Dogg completely changed the game with Dr. Dre as the producer. He went away from Dr. Dre to produce The Dogfather, and it's pretty noticeable and sort of like, okay, so maybe Dr. Dre was really the star all along, which maybe we knew, but Snoop Dogg's menace and musicality was so great on that first album. He never really had another good album. Great guest star, though. Also, my list, I'm going to do Dead Ringer, which came after Meatloaf's phenomenal Bad Out of Hell. And that's sort of one that, like, how on earth would you ever follow that up? You've reached, the most you can possibly cram into a rock album. There's no way to follow that up. I don't think Dead Ringer's terrible, but it is just not even in the same stratosphere as Bad Out of Hell. And here's one, we'll do one more here. It's not a bad album, but again, it comes in between two just awesome albums. And how great the debut was for The Who. A quick one just feels really slight, loses that maximum R&B, it loses the pretty Beatlesque harmonies from the debut and some of the singles they had out at the same time. And it's an interesting concept, a little mini proto concept album, but it's just not that good. It's just a little tuneless. All the players, members of the band, have a track or two, but they're just not that good. And I think they eventually find out that Pete Townshend's the main songwriter, and they would get to that on The Who Sell Out. But quick one, sort of forgotten about for The Who, not great.
All right. I have a bunch listed here, but I've been really good on the channel lately, and I feel like pissing some people off. So my first example, disappointing sophomore slumps, Zeppelin 2. Don't want to hear it. Nowhere near as good as Zeppelin 1. It's still a really good album, but it does not deserve the plum that it gets. Zeppelin 1, I think, is at least a full star, maybe a star and a half better. Gets even better than that. Let's go Van Halen 1 to Van Halen 2. It goes like this. Boom. You're talking about one of the coolest, greatest debuts ever, and then they kind of follow it up with like, I don't know if we know how to do this as well as we just did, but it's still kind of decent. Also going to go with U2, boy, October, pretty big bounce down if you ask me. Watch the YouTube video. I get a lot more. This one will piss off Jason. Going, relax now. Going Fleet Walks' debut to Helplessness Blues. That is a 2-star jump for me from 5 stars to 3 stars. I do not think Helplessness Blues is that good. I know some people argue like the EP and all that is more important. Joe's really loving this down there. But yeah, it doesn't really do it for me. And then this one I think is a slam dunk. We're going the debut of the New York Dolls to Too Much Too Soon. Pretty big jump, really disappointing. Not terrible, but I don't think they come close to capturing the magic. I got a lot more, but I'll let Jason go, and then we can have a little bit of a blitzkrieg wild card round here. But yeah, screw you guys out there. Zeppelin 2, come on, nowhere near as good as the first one.
Didn't you only do 4? I think you got 1 left.
I don't.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'll recap for you. We got U2, Van Halen, Zeppelin, Fleet Foxes, and New York Dolls.
All right. All right. I forgot U2. All right.
As you often do.
Yeah, as I often should. I'm going to go with Guns N' Roses. And I mean, you could think of this multiple ways. Lies, definitely disappointing. If you don't count that as a real album, the Use Your Illusion records, also disappointing. So either way you look at it, GNR's follow-up to Appetite was not great. Then I'm going to go with a band that I don't like that much. And all 3 of us unanimously put this record at the bottom, and it made a lot of people mad, but I can't see it any other way. Regatta de Blanc got to be the worst Police record. Just really over long and over jammy and just not that interesting. Let's see. Then I'm going to go with Diamonds in the Rough by John Prine after his excellent debut. I think is a little bit of, I don't know, feels a little tossed off almost. After that, I'm going to go with one. I'm trying to remember. This might have been Joe's winner for this artist. Was it? Peter Gabriel 2's Scratch. I think not a bad record, certainly not as bad as some of the others I've already mentioned, but I think between Car and Melt, it definitely feels like the weak link. And then I'm going to go with a record that I think has a ton of awesome songs on it, but it is one of the most poorly recorded records of all time, and that is Hotter Than Hell by Kiss, which just sounds awful. There you go. Joe, do I got 1 left?
Can you count? That's 5, dude.
How about one that we just talked about like a week ago? Freaks by Pulp, I think, is a pretty big step down from the surprisingly strong debut.
Yeah. Fairweather Johnson by Hootie and the Blowfish is a big one. You're talking about like the biggest decrease in sales from like a monumentally huge album that had so many hits and then couldn't name one song off of Fairweather Johnson, which might be the worst album title of all time.
One we talked about last month or so, which I don't think any of us had, but I believe a lot of people think this is The Modern World, the step down after In the City from The Jam. That was one that got mentioned a bunch.
Pinkerton, big sophomore slump there. You also got Adventure by Television, which this is the first time anyone's mentioned it on the channel, or maybe in my life, because it's not Marquee Moon. Sam's Town after Hot Fuss isn't nearly as good. Still some decent stuff on it, but yeah.
One more before Jason starts rattling off some craziness. We'll do one that everyone agrees with. Second Coming after Stone Roses. Just not even. It was 5 years later. People have forgotten they existed, and they come out with another album. So it might have been that, but it's just not as good anyway. So but that's when everyone jokes about being the example.
Well, in Cram's vein of being controversial, I would go more songs about buildings and food by Talking Heads as well, which I think is a step down from 77. But let us know. I mean, I think there's a lot more that we've not mentioned, obviously, but I think for sophomore slump being such a talked about thing, there aren't as many as you would maybe expect. But let us know which ones we did miss. Drop them down in the comments and let us know which ones that we mentioned that you disagree with. There's surely a few of those in the mix here. So leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell so that you get notifications when our new videos drop, and check the video description for links to our social media and to our Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further. Check it out. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.